We are tracking some breaking news for you right now. CBS News has learned exclusively in a filing by Fulton County District Attorney's Office an acknowledgement that Fani Willis engaged in a relationship with attorney Nathan Wade. You, of course, recall that both are working on the Georgia election interference case involving former President Donald Trump.
Joining us now with more on Willis's response is CBS News investigative producer Daniel Klaidman. Daniel, extraordinary reporting. Tell us what you've learned here, particularly about how Willis is expected to respond.
Well, CBS News obtained a draft of the filing, the response to the motion that had all of these allegations about her having a relationship with Nathan Wade, the special prosecutor who she hired to lead the Trump investigation. And first of all, it acknowledges that there was a relationship between them, but it pushes back very hard on some of the facts that were alleged, but also on the idea that this represented any kind of conflict of interest that could lead to her disqualification from the case or dismissal against any of the defendants.
And you have that filing in front of you.
I do.
What stands out to you? What are the headlines?
Well, one of the most, I think, important things in this filing is actually an affidavit, a sworn affidavit by Nathan Wade that is an exhibit. I'll read it. He says in this affidavit, in 2022, District Attorney Willis and I developed a personal relationship in addition to our professional association and friendship. So there's the acknowledgement of the relationship. But importantly, he also says that relationship did not begin until 2022. My understanding is it's early to mid 2022. He was hired for this position by Fani Willis in November of 2021. That is an important distinction because of the suggestion that she hired someone she was having a romantic relationship with and someone who had come under some criticism for not maybe having all of the credentials needed for a case like this. They also push back on that, by the way. The affidavit lays out in detail his experience as a lawyer, including having done a lot of felony cases in both state court and federal court.
Do we have a sense at all? I know obviously this is all still developing, but what this could mean in terms of consequences? I mean, what are the chances that Fani Willis might step aside now?
Well, this is the question that everyone wants to know, and there's a hearing that Judge Scott McAfee, who's the presiding judge in this case, has scheduled for February 15th, an evidentiary hearing where he's going to have to hear some of the evidence and then rule on this motion. Look, the bar is high for disqualification on the basis of conflicts of interest. And this is the argument that Fani Willis and her team make here, that they had no vested interest, financial or otherwise, in a conviction in this case beyond wanting to do justice, beyond wanting to vindicate the rights of people in Georgia and in Fulton County. So the idea that the certain financial entanglements between Fani Willis and Nathan Wade could have somehow biased the investigation, they say that is not true at all. One other important detail in the filing is the allegation was that Nathan Wade and Fani Willis went on vacations together, Caribbean cruises, lavish vacations, and that Nathan Wade paid for that from money that she was authorizing paying him for this job. And that was potentially a misuse of taxpayer funds, potentially added to the idea of a conflict of interest. What they reveal in this filing was that they actually alternated paying for some of these trips, and Fani Willis actually paid for some of them as well. And there are actually receipts for Delta flights to Miami that Fani Willis paid herself.
So, Daniel, if the report comes out and says there was no misuse of taxpayer funding, that it was not an inappropriate relationship, and that he was not hired by Willis because of a relationship, why not come forward with this from the beginning? Why wait until there are rumors and innuendo and still not?
It's an excellent question. A lot of us were wondering that. My understanding from the sources that I've talked to who are close to Fani Willis is that, first of all, she was reluctant to put a lot of facts out there and information out there before they had all of their ducks in a row in case things were contradicted or they made mistakes, that wouldn't have been good. And then there was also the kind of usual and predictable tension between the lawyers and the more sort of PR-minded people in her office. The lawyers are always reluctant to put a lot of facts out there that they feel they don't need to vindicate their legal arguments.
Yeah. Real quick, though, in this filing, because there have been a lot of allegations, is there any substance to any of those impropriety allegations?
Well, they
or
certainly.
Does this clear them?
But look, I mean, this is their motion in response to
Right.
the allegations. So this is their position. There will be a hearing. Both sides will have the opportunity to present their cases. So this doesn't end this controversy, but it is the first time we are hearing in any detail what they're saying about it. And they push back pretty hard. Let me just read you very quickly. They're fairly dismissive of the defense's original motion. They say this is not an example of zealous advocacy, nor is it a good faith effort to develop a record on a disputed legal issue. It is a ticket to the circus.
All right. Major development. Daniel, thank you so much for coming in and bringing that to us.
Absolutely.